Welcome to Deeper Dive. I'm your host, Connor Gilmore. Deeper Dive is a series that takes the legends and topics from the Paranoia X episode of the week and dives deeper into them. This week on Paranoia X, we discussed Helltown, Ohio, the town supposedly founded by Bloody Mary, wrought with satanic cults, serial child murderers, ghosts, and mutants. According to legend, the appearance of mutants across the area was due to an incident at Krejci Dump, including a monstrous snake called the Peninsula Python. In actuality, Krejci Dump was owned by the Krejci family from 1948 until 1985, when the National Park Service gained control of it. The NPS cited the reason that it was an extremely toxic location because at some point in those 30 years of operations, the dump had started accepting industrial and municipal waste. This fact was discovered after the NPS had already taken possession of the dump. Prior to this, the NPS assumed that it had simply acquired an old dump after the Cuyahoga Valley was declared a national recreation area. Eventually, the Krejcis vacated the premises, and a year later, park rangers started getting headaches and becoming sick. This led to the dump being entirely closed to the public by the NPS in 1986 after an Environmental Protection Agency survey. The EPA had declared the site one of the most contaminated in the country. The site contained large amounts of arsenic, PCBs, PAHs, and other carcinogenic material. Official site cleanup began in 1987 and dealt with cleaning up only the exposed waste. Mainly companies were responsible for the state of the site. Some of the companies include Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Federal Metal Company, Waste Management of Ohio and Chrysler. All of the companies had manufacturing facilities nearby, and Waste Management of Ohio bought all the smaller waste management companies that would transport the waste. The U.S. government sued the companies in 1997 using money from the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act of 1980, or the CERCLA Superfund. The CERCLA Superfund was designed to allow the U.S. government and other governmental entities access to funds to promote cleanups of toxic waste sites. It also created a tax on petroleum and chemical industries, but most importantly, it established prohibitions and requirements when it comes to closed hazardous waste sites and allowed for the government to take action against parties responsible for contamination. This also opened up the possibility for future cleanup efforts in these sites with short-term responses for immediately dangerous contaminations and long-term responses for non-dangerous contaminations. The current objectives of the cleanup are to remove all remaining contaminated materials, which adds up to more than 75,000 cubic yards of contaminated material. Ford is responsible for removing all of it as a result of the lawsuit with the National Park Service. No date has been given for when the restoration will be finished, but water sources will continue to be monitored for 2 years after the restoration is complete, and vegetation will eventually be reintroduced to the site. This has been Deeper Dive.